This here's the Bouse Guide to Tyrael. You're welcome.
So, you want to play Tyrael like a bouse? Well, my friend, you've come to the right place. However, first of all, you better make sure you know what you're getting yourself into when you pick Tyrael. This hero is a sword-throwing, ally-shielding, teleporting Angel of Reckoning, who is both his team's guardian angel and his enemy's angel of death. Now, if you still think you can handle that, keep watching. Otherwise, just go play somebody else. Before we begin, as with every hero, there are many different ways to build Tyrael depending on the situation, and being able to adapt to your particular game is crucial to high-level play. However, this build I'm about to show you right now is hands down the best and the only true way to play Tyrael like a bouse! Let's go! Alright, starting off, let's quickly go over Tyrael's skills and tips for them. Your Q ability, Eldruin's Might, throws your sword at a target location, dealing damage in an area, and then reactivating the ability will teleport you to your sword instantly. You can obviously use this ability to do damage, but the teleporting aspect has so many uses. You can use it to jump into a fight, catch up to a fleeing enemy, escape from fights, even get ahead of an enemy to body block them so they can't run away and slow them down. Your W ability, Righteousness, shields you and every ally around you temporarily. This area of effect shielding is extremely strong for protecting your teammates during fights and shielding large minion groups during pushes to give them that extra durability. This shield is also significantly stronger on you and allows you to shrug off a huge amount of damage. Your E ability, Smite, deals instant damage in an arc shape on the ground, and also speeds up any ally that walks through this area. This is a great little nuke that adds damage, minion clear, and utility to your arsenal. The speed boost on this ability is pretty significant too, and you can use it to speed yourself up or allies while you're fleeing or chasing. Your last and ultimate ability is Judgment. This charges towards the target, stuns the target, and pushes away all other enemies upon impact. This is your ultimate ability. The other one sucks and doesn't matter. Just kidding, just for this guide. This is also what allows you to be the initiation beast that Tyrael is. It isolates a single target out of a team fight effectively so that your team can focus them down. It's also extremely hard to stop or even avoid, so it's also great for interrupting enemy channeling abilities. Next, your trait. Your trait turns you into a walking time bomb upon death. After a short delay during which you can chase your enemies down, Tyrael will explode for significant area of effect damage. See, while most heroes die and get kicked around, Tyrael dies and kicks your ass! Alright, now on to talents and gameplay. Early game, starting off at level 1, you want to get your Purge Evil talent, which adds an additional 30% damage to your smite against heroes. This gives you a huge boost to your harassment early on and scales very well through the entire game. During laning, you want to harass heavily. Usually you can start off with the Eldruin's Might, a Q in their face, and then teleport to it, then immediately smite and start auto-attacking them. If they turn around and attack you, or if you're taking damage from any source, activate your shield, smack them a few times, and run back before your shield runs out. This combo lets you dish out tons of damage to your opponents without taking nearly any damage in return. Just be mindful of exhausting your mana too fast or overextending and dying. You want to harass just enough to keep your enemies on their toes or to open up opportunities for possible kills with help from a teammate. At level 4, go for your Retribution talent, which lowers the cooldown of Smite for each target that is hit. This will make your Smite a spammable nuke and increase your damage output. It'll also help tremendously in clearing minion waves and mercenary camps. At level 7, get Battle Momentum. Tyrael's power comes from his abilities, and this will help you make all your abilities spammable in fights and help reduce the cooldown on your ultimate as well. Make sure you balance between laning for experience and roaming around with your team for fights. You play all the crucial roles in a team fight. You're the initiator, you're the support, as well as a durable frontline fighter and a strong damage dealer, so you'll want to try and be at every team fight. Also, you can wreck your enemies with this one weird trick called body blocking. Tyrael's opponents hate him. Tyrael is amazing at body blocking because your Q teleport slows your enemy and your smite speeds you up. Use your Q to teleport right next to the enemy, but on the side they would run. Smite them and then keep yourself right in front of them and block them as they try to escape while you keep auto-attacking them. This gets damage in and gives your teammates time to catch up. This is a crucial technique to master, and it will yield you a lot of kills and a lot of enemy frustration. Alright, now on to the mid game. At level 10, it's Judgment Day. Pick up Judgment and say hasta la vista, baby, because this ability is an unstoppable stun and amazing initiator, so use it to single out high priority targets or as a stun to interrupt crucial enemy channeling abilities. At level 13, pick Burning Rage. This constant area of effect burn will help tremendously with clearing minion waves and mercenary camps, as well as increase your overall damage per second in teamfights and engagements. During mid-game, you should be focusing on teamfights and ganks around the map and roaming with your team most of the time. You are the initiator, which means that you can decide when your team is going to fight, but make sure to call your shots right. Initiate only when your team is near you, and if you have an even numbers or a numbers advantage. Jump on a high priority target like a specialist or assassin. Start off with your Judgment or your Eldruin's Might Q ability if you want to save Judgment for interrupting channeling abilities later. Get your shield off on as many allies as possible early on in the fight, and throw out your smite every single time the cooldown refreshes. Although team fights are one of your priorities, be careful not to roam around too much to look for fights if they don't yield kills or objectives and end up falling behind on experience. When you aren't roaming and team fighting, pay attention to mercenary camps and get them. Burning Rage and Smite give you enough damage to take care of any non-boss camp by yourself if needed. You can also push lanes hard by clearing enemy minion waves fast with Smite and shielding your minions for extra durability. And of course, don't forget to body block fleeing enemies during the mid-game and throughout the entire game, because this technique separates the bouses from the rest, and doing it will up your game to the next level. Alright, now on to the late game. At level 16, get Holy Ground. Now, at this tier, Tyrael has access to a lot of great talent choices, but here's why this talent, Holy Ground, is one of the most useful ones in the entire game. You can use it to push away enemies, you can use it to block enemies, you can use it to divide and conquer in team fights, you can use it to keep you company during those lonely nights. The amount of utility you get from this ability should not be underestimated, because it can turn any engagement in your favor by heavily disrupting enemy positioning, splitting up your entire team, or trapping individual opponents. This makes your opponents panic, run around trying to recover their position while you laugh at their confusion and tear them a new one. Now, at level 20, the talent choice is pretty situational. If you're winning hard, you can get the Angel of Justice upgrade to your Judgment ability. It's more fun. If you're even or losing, get Resurgence of the Storm. This will allow you to use your trait strategically rather than a last resort. In team fights, fight hard as normal, but if you drop really low, instead of escaping, run towards the middle of the enemy team or near a large wave of enemy minions to die there and get a heavy nuke off on your opponents. Then get back to the fight as soon as possible once you resurrect. This ability will be up before you know it, so you'll be able to use it every team fight, if not every other team fight. Don't die when this ability is not up, because you won't get that instant resurrection. Luckily, it should be very hard for you to die accidentally, as long as you're aware of your surroundings and your cooldowns. During late game, you should be team fighting, doing objectives, and mercenary camps. In team fights, your focus right after initiation should be using blocking field to disrupt the enemy positioning, either by splitting up their team, or isolating or trapping a single enemy hero for your team to pick off. As the game gets longer, good positioning becomes more and more crucial to winning key fights, which means if you can get an enemy team out of position, split them up, divide and conquer, it could lead to game-winning pickoffs and fights. Alright, now that's it for this Bouse Guide to Tyrael. Get out there, dazzle your team, and wreck your enemies, because that's what Bouse Tyrael is all about. And on a real note, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and find it both helpful and entertaining. If you like this and want to see more, show some love by liking, commenting, maybe sharing your own success or failure stories with the guide, and of course, subscribing.